Hey everyone, dealing with the HD perspective here, and I'm going to make a video today about common issues with the T800 Kenworth. This is going to be by no means a comprehensive list, but it's just some of the more common things I've seen time after time over the years and what you can do to fix them. So without any further ado, I guess I'll just start at the front and work my way back. So first up are fog lights. They always seem to be problematic on these trucks, and especially if you got an alley arc bumper of some sort, then usually you're going to find wiring issues or corroded wires in here, and you can see how it's been zip tied up here before. I mean, these ones are working, but usually they've been repaired many times. Of course, check your fuses first. That's the easiest, and of course the bulb itself, but if both are out, then chances are it's not just the bulb, right? And of course, for your information, usually the wiring comes down the driver's side of the truck and then it crosses over from the driver's side to the passenger side. I mean, it depends how the truck was rigged up and stuff too, but that's typically how it works. So sometimes the wiring can get messed up in the middle there in between the two lights as well, so that's something to check. The next thing that I've seen quite a bit of is passenger side step. It houses the emissions system, and it's quite a bit heavier now with that in there than previous trucks without it. And I've noticed, especially if your truck does a lot of miles off-road, these bolts in the back break or they work themselves loose and fall out. So always something to check for on a T800 especially. So front and back. The front ones aren't too bad to get at, but the back ones, of course, you've got your DEF tank in the way, so they're a little bit more fun. Can't really get in there with an impact or anything, and lots of times you end up taking the step off if they're broken, so you could drill those bolts out and put new ones in. Okay, another problem with these trucks is you can see on the front springs on the steer axle, they have that kind of band that goes around the springs to hold them straight, and it's kind of chintzy. They used to have like a metal U-bracket that had like a rivet welded on it or whatever, and that was much better at holding them. So sometimes those springs, and you can see this one's starting to do it, they'll start to walk kind of apart from each other. So you get, one spring will be this way and the other one straight. And then if it's bad enough, they'll start hitting on those blocks there. So yeah, usually we'll take those springs off and get one of them brackets welded on and reinstall them, get them straight again. So that's something else to watch out for, especially if your truck does a lot of miles off-road. So sometimes you'll get bad vibration or a noise, rattle. A lot of times what it is this stack bracket, either on the passenger side or the driver's side, will start to wear, and eventually it'll break, and then the whole exhaust assembly will shake and rattle. And sometimes you can even see from the shield it'll come around and mark on the side of the sleeper. So they're not too hard to replace, but something to keep an eye on. They break a lot. So another thing, if you're having trouble with your cruise control or high idle switches, it's not staying in high idle or won't go into high idle a lot of times. So your clutch linkages get seized, and so you can tell there's like the clutch will stay down here, and if you pull it up, then all of a sudden it starts to work again. So what the problem is actually underneath the cab. Okay, so they're a real bugger to get at, but You can see there's the clutch linkages, and there's kind of a ball and socket there, and they get seized up, so you're gonna have to replace those. And those linkages, they come from Kenworth with the new balls and sockets. I mean, you can try and free them up, but I haven't had much luck with them. So I end up always just replacing them, and that'll cause your pedal to hang up if they're seized. So, and that will be the reason why your cruise control doesn't work. So if your lights start doing weird things, like, I don't know, all your markers are out, or signals coming on with the brake lights, or vice versa, a lot of times you will have to check inside of this fuse box. So inside of this fuse box, there are fuses for the chassis node, and the chassis node controls all your lights. And so if any of these fuses are blown, then you're going to see some weird stuff happening. But also with that chassis node, if all these fuses are good and you're still getting weird issues with the lights, a lot of times it is the chassis node that's problematic, and I'll show you where that is. So this is your chassis node, and it controls all the lights. It's underneath the truck. Of course, you can see the drive line there, and the air dryer's in behind it. Sometimes they mount them in different locations. I've even seen them right behind the steer axle on the driver's side, so just in the right place to get all the mud and road grime from the wheel. So it's a terrible place to put an electronic component, but that's where they put them, underneath. And I can't remember what the cost on those things are, but they're upwards of over $1,000, I think. So if you're having issues with lights and you can't figure it out, a lot of times it's that chassis node. So I've seen some weird issues from that, and I've pulled them apart, and of course the circuit board's all green and full of, that green corrosion and stuff. So yeah, hate to be the bearer of bad news, but check your other stuff first, make sure your wiring's all good and everything, of course, but that could be your issue right there. So that's about it for this video. The T800 is a pretty good truck. I do like them a lot, but they do have a few issues, and those are some of the common ones. Leave a comment down below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And hey, if you got any questions, I'll do my best to try and answer them. I can't always, but leave it down in the comments below, and I'll see what I can do. And thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.